Oh, hi! This week, you know what we haven't done in a while? Is a t-shirt reconstruction. You know what else we haven't done in a while? Is made stuff while having a fucking beer and just letting our creative whims take us wherever we want. I haven't even started and I'm speaking very weirdly. So without further ado, here's what you need. You've missed it a little, haven't you? I have also missed it. Today we are drinking a beer called Cool Hand Lager, and I'm just so smitten with the name because Cool Hand Luke is such a good movie. I mean, the egg scene is upsetting to watch. I'm sure there's very problematic moments in it, but I enjoy looking at Paul Newman. I don't tend to go for blue-eyed men, but we're getting into the old school groove of it. Things are already very weird. Here for it. Let's make some stuff. Right. So, let me show you what I have thrown onto my dress form thus far. I got an orange bed sheet on the bottom and really wide elastic at the middle. Are you seeing the vision yet? Possible I'll be fucking around with some orange bias tape that I have laying around because we are continuing the year of using up shit in our own space already and not going out to buy more thrifted stuff we're not actually going to do anything with for 4 years. The shirt I have is a very severe color contrast on the front, so we're just leaning into it, especially because I just dyed my hair in the past week or so. It's gonna be a look. This is a We Are Scientists shirt. I bought this at a show at the Brighton Music Hall sometime in May. 4 years ago. It was one of my first adventure vlogs, I think, when I was trying to do monthly. And yes, the shirt is about twice as wide as I am. It is currently folded in half. It's actually a little trick, or I don't even know if it's a trick, but something I used to do when I would go see bands more often, where I'm just an old hermit of a woman now and don't leave the house. But if it didn't look like the shirt was actually going to fit me in a way I was going to like off the rack, then I would just ask for the biggest size they had so that I had as much fabric to work with when I eventually hacked it up and Frankensteined it into something else. I think I'm about to do something I've never done before, and I'm gonna iron a t-shirt. It's been sitting in a bin since that adventure vlog went up. I know I will be cursing myself if I don't just press out all the wrinkles. I also need to iron out this because it's all wild and wrinkly, as well as the bed sheet, so I figure we'll just get all of that done now. I am going to probably be using my serger as well as my regular sewing machine, but I do like to keep a walking foot on there if I'm using stretchy material. That way I'm not trying to pull my hair out of my head with the brains attached to it still. Not that your hair is attached to your brains. What the fuck am I saying? Am I implying that a follicle is gray matter? So, as I mentioned, pretty big shirt on me. I could just about wear this as a dress. Maybe start out with a tank top situation and then decide if I want to add sleeves after, because I'm also not sure if I want like contrasting sleeves with the bed sheet fabric or if I just use these. Also, I wish you could feel this shirt because it is the softest. I'm going to unpick pretty much all the seams. I think maybe that's the way to go, is just unpick everything. And yeah, honestly, I really like sitting and seam picking things, seam ripping things. Picking seams, however you want to phrase it. I enjoy doing it, so I'm going to put on an episode of Great British Sewing Bee and zone out for a little bit. Yes, I'm on to season 5. I just started, but I already have favorites for sure. Although, much like with Bake Off, I love everybody. I want everybody to win. I hate when anyone goes home. Okay, I didn't watch Great British Sewing Bee. I watched a bunch of garbage YouTube videos that I have no idea why I went down that rabbit hole. But everything is unpicked. The shirt was actually like knit as one piece for the bodice part, but I did get the sleeves completely off and then the neckband. Who knows if I needed to spend that much time doing it, but whatever. I have those extra pieces now. If nothing else, I can make a good sleeve pattern for a bigger size shirt with the scraps from this, so it wasn't for nothing. I really want a summery dress out of this. I think I'm gonna go tank top route, but a different one, a different style. Can you call it a tank top? You'll see what I mean once we get into it. Can you tell I'm figuring this out as we're going? Regardless of what I do, strap, sleeve, shoulder situation wise, I want the curve of this tank top that I already have, and it's also one that's in a similar type of material, so the stretchiness will be about the same. So if I cut something this width, that kind of hurts my eyes to look at in the viewfinder, it should translate well size-wise to the t-shirt material. Okay, so I like where this hits, and I think I want the skirt to start here. So I'm gonna take a piece of washi tape. My nails are like intolerably long right now. It makes it hard to do things. I guess see and make sure that's where I want this to go. Okay, yeah. So I want the elastic to start right here. I'm gonna lay my shirt out. I'm gonna lay this inside out. And I'm not worried about lining up the straps or allotting for room for the straps because I have an idea that may or may not work. The back is a little bit higher, but we're going to kind of pretend it's not there because I want the back and front to both sit at the same depth. Like I'm okay with the back being as low as the front, where normally the back is higher. So just keep that in mind as you're tracing this stuff out. And of course I flipped it inside out, so I don't know what stripe we're working with. Okay, so it's this. At the very bottom, there's just like a weird spider thing hanging off down here, and I don't love that. Get the palm tree over this side. Okay, I think we're in a fairly good spot now. So I'm gonna scoot this down about a 1/2 inch. And again, it's jersey knit, so there is quite literally wiggle room. I guess I can just like freehand all the curves and stuff. And then for tracing the neckline, again, I'm not worried about the straps, so I'm gonna tuck the back out of the way because I just want where this is laying. I'm gonna cut across here. That is so much shirt to be getting rid of. Then I'm gonna line this up. Yeah, it looks about right. And then this way it's symmetrical. I will cut all the layers at the same time. Again, if you want the back higher, cut that out separately. Now I'm going to take these two pieces and sew just the side seams together, right sides together. Some kind of stretch stitch. So, you know, zigzag and an overlocker. Probably my tactic here. Okay, here's my top. This looks way too little. Oh no, what am I doing? Okay, so I've cut an elastic. This is what, 2-inch wide? 1 3/4 inches wide. And I wrapped it around where I want this to be sitting. So basically at my high waist, and I'm going to serge the ends separately, stitch it together a little ways in, lay those bits flat, and then stitch across those. My elastic is assembled, so I have pins at the quarter points as well as on this teeny tiny shirt. And I actually give myself shit for making this after that fucking Rocket Man crop top I made last year. I don't know what I am losing my mind about. That was the tiniest thing I've ever put on my body. So yeah, I'm gonna line up the back and front center points and then the side seams. And then I'm gonna stitch in about 1/4 inch and then I will serge around the edge. Again, zigzag stitch, and you stretch as you go and like kind of pull against your own hands. Regrets are happening, but we can only forge ahead. We gotta get some kind of skirt situation happening. So I'm wondering if, I think if I have it just like a straight down slim fitted thing, it's gonna hug here too much. Another option is like gathering it, because fuck pleats. It's stretchier this way. So maybe I do 2 rectangles and just make it as full as humanly possible while also keeping it fairly long, because I want like a fun, flowy situation here. And also having this on and like moving around, I was worried having it up like where the height of my ribs is, because this is where like my chest sinks in, so having this part stick out. I was worried it would get like real stretched out there, but it seems fine. And obviously we're gonna add things here, don't worry. Okay, well I guess I gotta do some gathering stitches. Okay, hello, it is the next day. Well, it is -2 degrees outside. -2.5 technically, and that's not counting wind chill. And I can't. Even the 2 or 3 layers I have on right now are not enough. So let's continue making this very summery dress, shall we? I have a huge skirt. I don't know that I'm gonna keep the length, but I wanted to make it and then we'll hem it to size. It's a lot of goddamn fabric because this is almost an entire bed sheet. I put in some pockets. I essentially just made a regular gathered skirt. I was actually talking to the ever wonderful Cheryl about wanting to do a video on making your own gathered skirt, because it's My favorite style skirt to wear. I've made a handful over the years, but I don't think I've ever shown any of you how to do it. And it's the easiest pattern in the world to make because you're just making rectangles. And there's so much wiggle room with the actual skirt part. Like your waistband is going to be your waist, so there's not as much give with that. So what I did once I got the side seams sewn up, so it's a one big front panel and one big back panel, and I put the pockets in, attached them at the side seams. That's it. Then I stretched the elastic here as far as it'd go, measured it out. It was about 20 inches times 2, so 40 inches. So then I gathered the top of the skirt to 40 inches. And once I get things to a length that I tie off the gathering stitches, I did have to redo a set because I pulled some of them out at first because I didn't tie the end I wasn't pulling on, if that makes sense. If you would like more details on how to make a gathered skirt, let me know and we'll fucking do one, because all I ever want to make are gathered skirts, and it's a good excuse. I'm looking at fabric right now that I very badly want to make a gathered skirt out of. So yeah, don't hesitate to ask if you are interested, because I will be more than happy to oblige. Oh, one very important thing here. Before I gathered it, I marked the middle point of the front and the middle point of the back. Just put a little notch so that I can use those as quarter points to attach it to the elastic. You can also just mark it with a pen or something, as long as it's in the seam allowance and won't show on the outside. Skirt is inside out. I'm going to place this right side out inside of here. So it is going to be tricky, kind of, maybe, we'll see, fitting the gathered skirt into the elastic. You're not stretching this, you're just stretching this to fit here, which is why I especially wanted to make sure I tied off the ends of the gathers, because that stuff will walk all over the place if you're not keeping an eye on it. I mean, you can also shift the gathers around as you're sewing. So I'm going to stretch the elastic and then stitch right between the rows of gathering. Even my coffee's cold, even though I just reheated it. It's the kind of cold that's just impossible to keep up with. As soon as I'm done in here, I'm gonna go upstairs and sit by the wood stove and update some Etsy listings. It's just so bad and I hate it. Okay, this is floofy to the goddamn max. This is wanting to like shimmy down a little bit. And here's something I've never experienced before. I mean, it's a little too long, but the back is a little bit longer. Plus I'm going to hem this up, which is going to make this perfect. And initially I was going to take it up to like just below my knees, but I don't actually own any like full length dresses, and I kind of like the idea of this being, you know, it's out of a band t-shirt. It's very casual, but giving it that more elegant length. I like the contrast happening here. I do think I want to cut straight across the back, get rid of these little flappy guys. I do need to make sure it's like above where my bra is sitting. So piece of bias tape across the back here and coming up. Continue and then cross over, and then same with this one, like come up and over. So I think what I need to do is do this curve here, and I'll probably actually make these like into points, and then take another piece of bias tape, maybe start in the middle of the back, because that's all going to be one continuous piece, and then I'll cross over. It'll attach back here. I should have enough bias tape for this. Let me confirm. So I know I have bias tape on reserve for a certain fabric I bought. Let me make sure. I have this really gorgeous fox fabric that I showed off in a live stream recently, and I got 2 different oranges because I didn't have the fabric with me when I was buying the bias tape, and I wasn't sure what was going to look better, but this definitely suits this fabric better. So this is the scrap one, and because it's cut on the bias, as implied by the name, there is stretch to it. So adding this to jersey, I've never done it before, but I don't think it's gonna be the worst thing. Also, thank God for the shoulder tattoo. I used to be very self-conscious about this part of me, but literally the day I had this, I stopped giving a shit. Not that I should have given a shit in the first place. Okay, y'all. Oh man, it looks so legit. Yeah, a little bit uneven, but I'm pretty goddamn happy with that. Yeah, this one's like a little higher, I guess, but I've recently fallen in love with bias tape. I did that plaid dress last fall. I think I was trying to, but doing a poor job of describing how I wanted this to go back here. Wherever these are touching, this feels good. Let's try to get this safety pin on here without inducing injury. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take this off, stitch that in place. Oh, I just tweaked my back. Cool. Yep. Great. Also, for real, I am gonna wear the fuck out of this summer. Yeah, I'm gonna stitch this one in place. So I'm just gonna copy the length and distance over of the other strap. And yeah, just make sure they're crisscrossing evenly. And you guys, I'm very excited. Oh, my goodness, I am in love with how the top is looking. I have been wearing a strapless bra throughout this whole process because I know it's what I will wear when I wear this, which is something I'm trying to be more cognizant of. While I had this on, I did double check the length of this, and I think, yes, once I even out the hems to make them even, or even out the bottom edges to make them even, serge it to clean it up, and then fold it over twice and stitch it down. I'm gonna see how that looks. If it is wonky, I will either unpick it or just like research the whole thing and then hand sew it, because I have been advised by a few of you in like the best, kindest, most encouraging way possible to just take the time to hand hem things because they're gonna look nicer. I need to give myself the time, especially now that I'm back to one video a week. That's part of this, is I am trying to make better garments, and doing things like that is gonna make it happen. Oh my god, I love it so much. One thing, learning curve, let me know if you think this is the issue, is this like weird twisting thing happening with the bias tape. Like, it's fine on this side. I think maybe I was pulling on the bias tape as I was sewing it in on one side, where I don't think I did it all the way around because I like caught myself doing it. So those of you that know a lot more than I do, let me know if you think that's the case. Also, yeah, the elastic, because of the weight of the skirt, I think is falling at my natural waist, which is also fine because it's making it more comfortable where it wasn't tight up here, but it's fitting so well, other than the bias tape rolling over, which, like, the times I'm picturing myself wearing this, I could not be less concerned about something like that happening. I was more worried about like busting out of this, you know? How do I even show you this? I can't even just get the whole skirt in frame. God damn. Yeah, good plan. Your normal outfits don't fit in frame, so let's do a fucking maxi dress. But yeah, it's massive and beautiful and so comfortable. Pockets are nice and deep, and they kind of just disappear into the fullness here, which I appreciate. I did hand hem the whole bottom edge. It took forever, but we were watching The Godfather Part 2, which is pushing 3.5 hours long, so I'm really pleased with how it came out. Even though it was a straight edge, it wasn't like a curved hem. We're going forward, especially on curved hems, I'm going to make a point to hand sew them. But this fabric is so lightweight and thin that when I tried to just stitch the bottom hem, it was gathering the fabric. So I figured, what better time to practice than now? So I would like to make that more of a habit. And I do really like sitting and hand sewing more than I used to. It also keeps me awake during movies such as Godfather Part 2. Because if I sit still too long, I get really, really sleepy. So stuff like that is helpful. I'm really glad I played around with some stuff. And I haven't gone into a project like this in a while where it's like, let's hack up a t-shirt, kind of see what happens as we're going through it. I've had a lot more structured projects and battle plans so far this year. So it was nice to just be a little more loosey-goosey with it. And yeah, I am excited where most tops I have the exact same strap layout, where I like how this is going to divvy it up a little bit so I don't just get sun in the same exact spots anytime I spend time outside. And yeah, I can just dream of warmer weather while wearing this and really revel in the garish color combination. So yeah, thanks for sticking with me through a good old t-shirt reconstruction and some beer-filled debauchery. I did miss doing stuff like this, but this is also the third day of me working on this project, and had I not been drinking, I probably wouldn't have come up with the same idea, but whatever idea I did do, I probably would have stayed focused enough to just knock it out that same day. So, you know, it's all about balance. So yeah, if you're new around here, I do have an Etsy shop where I sell some handmade stuff. I have a Patreon page if you want to go check out fun stuff over there. I do have extra content like patterns and little sketches and stuff that are open to everyone, as well as stuff that's just for the patrons. It's because of them that I get to do stuff like this in the first place. So thank you all so much if you are currently donating to it, if you ever have in the past, even if you just shared the link out in the world. As well as the thing I always forget about, my Ko-fi page. That's also a huge help and a little less intimidating than Patreon because it's just a one-off thing. So thank you to everyone that's donated over there too. Every little bit helps. If you have enjoyed your time here, you're welcome to subscribe and hang out, but like, no pressure. Okay, I'm done selling myself now. I will see you all back here with another video next Friday. Thank you so much for hanging out. Here I go, here I go, here I go again, girl, what's my weakness? I shooped too hard.